What's going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, the maintenance has ended, and we have a bunch of information relating to some of the new stuff that will be coming, or is here, I should say, for the maintenance of, I don't even know, 13.10, I do believe that that's what it was. So, in today's video, we have some information on EX Super. It has been added to the game. At the moment, it's just Roger, and the activation requirement is you need 3 of the following characters on the crew, being Odin, Rayleigh, Newgate, Gaban, Crocus, Shanks, Buggy, Dogstorm, Cat Viper, or Ace to get this to proc. And at the moment, it does seem like it's only triggering with Roger as your captain. Now, it does state that Super EX can be used as a sailor. However, for Roger's case, it does seem like Roger has to be the captain. As you can sort of see in this little picture here, Roger is actually the captain, so that has to happen. It gives you a super type and a super class. I'll do a video on that with like a playthrough and a chat about that soon, because this has the potential to be one of the most broken mechanics in the game. But what we're going to touch on today is 2 things. We have some Pirate Rumble character stats, and we have the auto feed feature. So we're going to start off with the auto feed feature. If we go over to our power up screen, we can click on auto power up, and it'll bring us to this screen right here. So this basically gives us a group of characters. It sifts through your box and finds the dupes of the characters you have. You can unselect your groups here. So you can unselect them like this. And then if you find a group, as you can see with my Bonnie group, I can confirm that, and it's going to feed the copies of Bonnie into the character. Now, there is a latency issue at the moment, so unfortunately, it isn't working the way it's intended to work. But look, this does seem like a really good system. It's going to help out a lot of people after Sugofest. You can just hit the auto button, and then basically it'll just bring you into that particular screen, and you'll be good to go. Unfortunately, like I said, it's not working right now. For endgame players, if you're not summoning, it's going to work really, really nicely when you are farming free-to-play units. You can basically just bing that button, select the group that you want, and then you can just go from there. Some other things that came with the maintenance are that you can do 100 pulls with your friend point at once. This is basically going to help you guys get some turtles and stuff like that. So if you hit to Tavern, it'll send you over here to the super power up screen. You can hit your friend point pulls, and you can do 100 in a row. So if you hit 100 in a row, you can pull back, you're good to go. There was some new animations as well that did get released. We saw like some Haki stuff, and we saw some like chests in front, but as you can see, it doesn't even do like the posters dropping. It literally just gives you a whole bunch of stuff that's very, very good for your account. So if you have lots of friend points like myself, you can literally just spam this and get through them a lot quicker and just build up a lot more resources for your account. And for me, like those lobsters, man, like those lobsters look so juicy, but now I have no more friend points. So 2, see you later, cool, call it a day, and good to go. So I guess that's that, right? The final thing we're going to talk about in today's video, before we go to the EX video later, is this Pirate Rumble improved stats. And if you guys have a look here, a lot of characters got buffs. Like, a lot. So if I just scroll like this for a second, yeah, it's still going. So all the way down to Nami. Now, I'm going to start at the bottom and make my way up, because some characters didn't get a huge buff. Like Nami, her burst went from 500 to 5,000 to 1,000 to 6,000. Nice buff there, but Nami already has enough bugs for her to worry about actually being good in the game, especially in GP. Zoro, his burst went to target driven class enemies for defense down level 5, and then he sort of does all the rest of the stuff. You guys can read these if you like, but as for actual leaders, neither of these characters are sort of your go-to for leaders. Big Mom, she got added the quick type with her half stats, but again, not a leader that you want to use. Killer's burst went from 33 times of dealing damage to 25, so a much, much big decrease there. Jack and Whitebeard went from 9 power attacks to 5, which is a massive upgrade, because power attacks are incredibly hard to do, and going from 9 to 5 is almost halving that, so that's awesome. The next one is Yamato, going from 10 enemies to 7 enemies defeated. This is a much needed buff for the unit as well. Again, not a great leader. None of these characters from the bottom down are great leaders, but look, being able to get her burst off a lot more frequently is going to be beneficial for her if you are using her as a leader. Next, we've got K-Dad going from 30 times dealing damage to 25. Again, reducing that by 5 is quite nice. They did seem like a good leader on paper, but really just like the fact that you can only burst off 1 time with them is kind of annoying. Snake Man from Film Red, after 3 teammates are defeated, not 5, is a massive, massive buff, because because you can still then burst on a 5-man team, and you can do some really, really cool stuff there. With this as well, you can even bring in some really shit units at the start, let them die, get your burst ready to go straight away, and you can just bink it straight away. That could be good, but again, I don't think he is a great leader. Ace Yamato going from 6 blowaways to 4. It is what it is there. This is the big one, though. Kaido and Luffy Yamato going from 9 power attacks to 5. Now, if you can get this off with Luffy Yamato, they immediately become one of the best GP leaders in the game. Their passive is so good. The downside to the unit was that you could never get the burst off. Now, they've made it a lot more attainable to actually get this. So that's actually pretty nice. Next, we've got Luffy Crew going from 10 power attacks to 6. Again, a very nice drop. This unit does have a very usable GP leader as well, which is awesome. Odin going from 10 crits to 6. He's not a great leader, though. The Yamato is going from healing of 15 to 10. A third of that reduction is actually massive. And then finally, we have, Luffy going from 7 enemies to 5. And Kid going from guarding 10 times to 6 times. So all these characters got a nice little buff. It does show that they never really tested Grand Party, to be honest. But it's not the end of the world because, look, we are the beta at the end of the day, and the community's always going to break it anyway. So, nice to see that they are tweaking Grand Party stats and looking at what the characters do to upgrade them in the future. Moving up now, we have the first actual upgrade, which is Law. Now, Law, his burst goes from 8 crits to 5, and now he targets Dex teammates for all counter stance, as well as doing 3 times his attack to all enemies. So, pretty big buff. Instead of 3 enemies, all enemies, and now everyone gets counter. Again, still not a fantastic leader, and one that I probably wouldn't use, but it is nice to see that they're working on these characters, right? Next, if we go up, we have Robin, I do believe this is. I believe this is Robin. Oh my god, Robin got a massive buff. Yes, it is Robin. So Robin now targets 1 driven class enemy for attack times 6 with her Rumble special, and does a 30% HP cut instead of a 20%. Quite a nice buff for her there. She's not exactly the greatest Rumble character, but it definitely does help the quick Cerebral team. And by God, that team definitely needs help. Her burst requirement goes from 9 power attacks to 5, which is a massive upgrade. And then her burst now targets Powerhouse as well as Driven for the defense down level 7 and the attack as well. So, very, very nice stuff there from Robin. Again, quick Cerebral need a lot of help, and this is a step in the right direction to give that team a lot more buffs. Another unit from the quick Cerebral team that got a nice buff is actually this Sabo. Anniversary Sabo got a buff. His haste goes down to 25 seconds instead of 28 for his special during regular Rumble. His Rumble ability now has defense up level 5, which gives them a lot more bulk for the quick Cerebral team. Very nice stuff. The speed, the HP, the defense, and the shield on himself now makes that a much, much more usable passive. So, pretty nice stuff from Sabo, but again, quick Cerebral still need a lot of help. As for the rest of the anniversary characters that came alongside Sabo, they also got a buff. We have Luffy now. This is the Luffy, right? I don't know why my games take so long to swipe up. There we go. But Luffy, he targets 3 enemies for 3,000 damage instead of 2 now in regular Rumble, which is a nice buff. His Rumble ability targets driven enemies for speed down level 3 on top of everything that he already did. And then his burst went from 60,000 to 55, which is kind of whatever after dealing damage. But his actual burst now targets Free Spirit and driven class enemies for a 100% chance of halving their attack, which is massive because Free Spirits are such a predominant force. However, the character you want to halve stats is actually Luffy Yamato, and they're immune to halve stats. So, unfortunately, whilst this is a really good buff, it doesn't stop what it needs to stop. However, for the driven team, it could cause a little bit of problems there. But again, not a character you're going to be using too much for your GP leader because fighters are just kind of not there, you know? As for the final character on the list, we have Ace. Ace is very good in Rumble already, so now him giving level 3 crit up to shooters is quite nice, but his burst went down from 33 turns of receiving damage to 25. This was never really a problem, but now it's just a lot easier to get. So a big thing that I did want to touch on with this Rumble character stats improvement is I love that they're doing this. I love that they're looking at a game mode they've made and they're trying to make it better. Nothing is going to be perfect at the end of the day, and if you look hard enough at something, you're always going to find something to complain about. As long as the criticism and the complaints is warranted and you are providing constructive criticism, I'll allow it. But the fact that they are looking at this going, alright, we need to make changes to make this game mode better, or the community has a problem in this game mode, how can we make it more fun and more usable for other characters? Here it is right here. This is a prime example that they're trying. It's not perfect, but they're trying. So, it is really, really nice to see. All in all, I'm a big fan of this update. The quality of life stuff. Actually, the final quality of life thing that I forgot to mention was that if you go into filter, you can actually filter by special crewmate ability and support now, which is awesome. And on top of that, when you use the auto power-up feature, it actually prioritizes by particular statuses. So over here, back on the auto power-up menu, you can hit on help, and it brings up basically how they determine filtering in your characters. It's actually a pretty advanced system, and they prioritize the auto group up from the number of power-ups, limit break process, highest potential abilities, highest special level, and this is where they get the base character, I do believe, from. Or the oldest recruit date is the last of the feature. They look at your unlocked powers, they look at everything here, and it does seem quite advanced when it comes to this sort of stuff too. But if you guys want to give this a read, it is over in the help menu. If you head over to the auto power up, hit the help button at the top here, and you guys will be able to see all of that. But that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go down that bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.